Welcome back. This proves it's a Monday. Listen to this: undetectable and unprepared. Two words TSA is using to describe the latest threat the airline industry faces. The agency issuing an internal warning about a virtually undetectable thermite bomb. You see it here in headlines at Newsmax.com. This bomb cannot be traced by security machines, and if ignited, could be powerful enough to knock a commercial jet out of the sky, killing everyone aboard. And to make matters worse, TSA agents say they are not prepared to deal with this threat. Joining us now with more on the story, Todd Curtis, aviation safety expert and president of airsafe.com, and of course our friend Michael Patrick Flanagan remains with us from Newsmax.com. Todd, as always, we appreciate you Skyping in from the Boston area. Give us a tutorial on thermite.
Well, thermite is an explosive that's a combination of two quite common materials, rust and aluminum powder. It's been used throughout industry as well as for military purposes for decades. So this isn't a new technology. It's just a new and potentially diabolical application of this technology.
Mindful of that, Todd, how concerned should we be when TSA says it's undetectable and they're not ready for it?
Well, the concern is twofold. First, like many potentially dangerous materials, it can't be detected with the normal X-ray screening and explosive detection systems that they have in place right now. Second, because it can be very compact and very dangerous. For example, several pounds of it, if placed in the right position, could burn a hole through the fuselage. It's a cause for concern. Now, the one thing that's in the favor of the flying public and the TSA, it isn't exactly easy to put together an IED and explode it or set it off inside of an aircraft. The underwear bomber and the shoe bomber are two examples of the last lines of defense, the average passenger, being a very critical factor that can prevent this from happening in real life.
Tell me, if the more we talk about these sorts of things, do we make them a larger potentiality for disaster? I mean, I know that there are many different homemade remedies, homemade explosives that could be created, that could be carried on or at least checked and set to go off later. If we had less of a focus on these things, would that be something that would be better or worse for how we approach these problems?
It could be better, but unfortunately, because of the modern communication system that we have in the world right now, basically a lot of the common knowledge when it comes to explosives and poisons and such is in the open market. It's out there on the internet, it's out there in libraries. It's been used historically, so there's plenty of examples for people to draw from. So the creativity of those who wish to do ill is served well by the knowledge that's already out there, internet notwithstanding.
Well, mindful of that, there seems to be a debate, Todd, on just exactly how much thermite would be needed to bring down a commercial jetliner. But if it's packed in the luggage bay, if it's not detected in a suitcase, it's shades of Lockerbie in the late 80s, is it not?
It's not just that, the potential of having it in the baggage area. There's a side effect of thermite. That is, it kicks off quite a bit of noxious fumes. So you could have a lot of noxious fumes, blinding smoke inside of the cabin, supposedly if it's inside the cabin. And what's worse, because thermite, because it has its own oxidizer in the rust, because it carries its own oxidizer, you really don't have a chance of using halon or other common fire extinguishers to put it out. Should you find this on fire, it's very difficult to put it out with that which is on board the aircraft.
Wow, so this is really a brand new form of terrorism where the plane itself could actually take off, fly, and land more or less undamaged, but carry a carload of injured and dying and dead people.
Potentially, yes.
There is one other thing on security here at home, Todd, that I need to mention. We're getting reports that apparently 14,000 TSA security badges are missing. Have you heard about this?
I haven't heard about that, no.
Well, it sounds like this is another problem plaguing the TSA. Something we'll keep an eye on and follow up with you in the days ahead. Let's shift our focus overseas with the whole mystery that surrounds Malaysian Flight 370. It's been a year now. What are you hearing? Any new theories about this?
Well, new theories, not so much, because given the scant amount of information that was available, they've done a pretty thorough job of narrowing down the search area. Again, the best information that came out in the early part of the investigation turned out to be the satellite signals from the Inmarsat organization. They were able to narrow the search area to something roughly the size of West Virginia. And as we speak, there's a roughly $50 million effort underway to very methodically scan the bottom of the ocean where they think the aircraft may be lying. And about 40% of that primary area has already been covered. So the technology, such as it is in place to do a search, and one will just have to wait and see whether or not they find something at the end of this initial one-year search.
There are a lot of folks who worry about conspiracy theories involving this flight going down, and they run the gamut from crazy political intrigue to espionage, corporate espionage. If you had to hazard a guess, where would you think that this is just a sad, ordinary situation, or is there something else at foot here?
My guess is that it's a combination of a very, very unusual set of what I would call a normal accident. That is, some sort of multiple or cascading system failures that cause the aircraft to behave and the crew to behave in a manner that put the aircraft out in the middle of nowhere. The most diabolical theory I can come up with is essentially a normal hijacking. That is, someone either who was on the inside of the organization, crew, executive, etc., or some bad actor on the outside of the organization, for whatever purpose, decided to commandeer this aircraft. Now, as far as higher level or more sophisticated conspiracies, there's been quite a bit of attention paid over the past year to all sorts of potential conspiracies. And as far as I'm aware, there's no military, law enforcement, or national security organization that has made any statement that says that there's a serious chance of this having happened.
Well, the theories run the gamut completely to not only the hijacking, but the landing of this aircraft somewhere. And that is one of the more, should we say, I don't know if you call it outlandish theories, one of the more inventive theories there. Todd Curtis, as always, you help separate fact from fiction as the president of airsafe.com. You have our thanks again today. We'll be in touch real soon as we continue to keep an eye on the TSA and what's going on in this country. And when we come back, a story on our veterans. Scott Neal of Special Forces will join us.